Chaos Sorcerers are mortal men and women that ascend to demigod status through unspeakable pacts forged with the Chaos Gods. While the majority of the psychically gifted champions of Chaos were once Space Marine, not all Chaos Sorcerers have to start out this way. Any psychic being driven to expand his influence and knowledge through the Dark Arts can obtain the blessings of one or more of the Chaos Gods and become a Chaos Sorcerer. Once blessed with these new powers, the Chaos Sorcerer can wield death, destruction, and mutation at the end of his fingertips. Unlike the Sanctioned Psykers of the Imperium of Man or the Witch Farseers of the Eldar, the Chaos Sorcerer's power is incredibly deadly. They can orchestrate planet-wide rituals and manifestations that tear at the fabric of reality and allow the demons of the warp to bleed into real space. And on top of commanding warp-spawned armies, the sorcerers themselves are exceptional warriors. They draw upon the enemies of the warp and bolster their martial prowess in terrifying ways. On the battlefield, a sorcerer can weave complex spells that launch malefic bolts of warp lightning to entangle and dismember his enemies. They are the complete embodiment of the brutality of the warp. Anyone unlucky enough to face a Chaos Sorcerer is fighting a truly potent champion of Chaos. We cover these warriors in further depth in my 40 facts on the Chaos Sorcerer, so check out that video after the end of this one if you guys want to learn more. But what we're going to be doing today is taking the lore of the Chaos Sorcerer and using it to homebrew the lore to the leader of my Chaos Space Marine warband, the Chaos Sorcerer Oberon the Undying. And with that said, I want to welcome you guys back to another 40 facts about the 40K universe. I am your host Gersh1, and today we're going to be not only talking about the lore of Oberon the Undying, but we're also going to be painting this model for the tabletop. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We post Warhammer 40K lore videos every single day. What we're trying to do is get those individuals who are interested in the 40K universe, whether it's because of the video games or the novels, and then introducing you to the hobby. So collecting miniatures, you don't even have to play, but collecting and painting miniatures after you read a novel about a certain character or a certain faction, it's a whole lot of fun. So what we're going to do today is really focus on the Chaos Sorcerer and try to build lore and a model based around what we've read in the Codex. If you guys have any questions about the 40K universe, just ask down in the comment section below. I'll try to answer it there, or I'll create a video for you guys, or direct you to one of our already created 40 facts videos. And thank our patrons on Patreon. It is because of them that we can do these types of videos. Link in the description if you guys want to support us. But with all that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Chaos Sorcerer Oberon the Undying. The Chaos Sorcerer Oberon the Undying was a former Imperial Fist battle brother who fell to the temptations of Chaos sometime during the early 36th millennium. His betrayal is a close-guarded secret by the Stoic First Founding Chapter, and at this point, only the spoken accounts from the few Imperial Fist dreadnoughts with first-hand accounts of his betrayal exist. These ancients tell the tragedy of the proud and powerful Oberon, whose prodigious power as a psyker drove him to mistrust his commanders and grow in his arrogance. Oberon excelled in the discipline of divination. His sight into the hidden web of fate that manipulated events yet to come allowed him to predict the paths of bullets and swords, making him almost impossible to strike down. These same powers allowed him to predict the enemy's action before they themselves knew what they were going to do. Like a master swordman that can read the swing of a sword by the body language of a foe, Oberon could see the actions of an entire military force before the commander gave out his orders. Cheered on by his brothers who admired his incredible skills in close combat and his godlike intuition, Oberon pushed for more and more control of the battlefield. Directing the battle brothers of his company at the opportune moment to catch the enemy at its weakest point, Oberon achieved victory after victory. Unfortunately, it came with a terrible price, as the company captains and lieutenants were sidelined by the Great Librarian. Although they all had twice Oberon's experience, he treated these veterans with the same amount of respect as any other member of the company, and tensions quickly began to develop. Oberon didn't give counsel when his commanders asked. His warp-empowered insight was given as an order. In the mind of Oberon, victory was not good enough. Complete battlefield supremacy was the greatness that every Astartes should strive for, and anyone settling for mediocre success was not fit to fight alongside him. The veteran warriors of his company tried warning Oberon of the dangers of relying too much on his powers. They tried making him understand the true value of a low-cost victory, but in his mind, measured actions were for lesser beings. It was during the pacification of the warp-tainted planet of Runshot that Oberon's diviner powers finally failed him. The librarian received a vision of a future where he marched at the head of the Imperial Fist and their successors during what he felt was the end times. In an instant, he was transported backwards through the web of fate as dozens of prophetic scenes played out, each one a stepping stone from that one first glorious vision, and it was the last prophetic vision which told him what to do next. Ignoring his captain's orders to hold for company reinforcements, Oberon sent his force into what he believed was a crippling spearhead assault, but instead, it was a perfectly orchestrated ambush by the traitor Planetary Defense Force. 25 Sons of Dorn, along with multiple engines of war, fell to the bombardment of the heretical humans. The shame he brought to the chapter could not go unpunished, but instead of accepting his failure, Oberon blamed the terrible loss on his battle brothers, claiming that it was their hesitation in his direction that caused their death, not his interpretation of fate. Before his punishment could be assigned, however, Oberon received another vision of a similar but not identical future from before. It was destined that he would lead the Sons of Dorn into their final battle, but in order to accomplish this, Oberon had to travel into the maelstrom of chaos. Never doubting his own powers, Oberon managed to evade capture and set course for the Eye of Terror. When his ship finally entered the stellar maelstrom, Oberon stood at the bridge of his vessel staring into the hellish void he was trained to fear. But amidst the chaos, his soul felt calm. Phantom images ghosted in and out of his perception. Demons attempted to coerce him into turning off his Geller field, but Oberon simply waited. And then suddenly, in a flash of pale blue light, the physical manifestation of fate itself appeared to Oberon. Taking the form of crackling blue energy that manifested as a shifting human face, it uttered the truth of the end times and what possible outcome may come from the apocalyptic battle. At that moment, Oberon knew without a doubt what role he must play in the long war. Accepting the bargain laid out before him, the once proud Imperial Fist librarian gave himself over to chaos, and the etheric force entered his body, mutating everything inside. Horns grew out of his head, his superhuman organs sprouted from his insides and wrapped around his armor in mockery. As the raw power of chaos surged through his body, fate revealed his next task. He was to gather a warband. Now that we know the origin story to the leader of my Chaos warband, Oberon the Undying, it's time to paint him. Now this is an already converted model. I did some conversion work and you could check it out if you look up our 40 facts on the Exalted Champion. But today is an important date because not only am I choosing the color scheme for Oberon the Undying, but I'm choosing the color scheme for my entire Chaos Space Marine warband, one of the most exciting and fun parts of creating a new army. The color scheme I decided to go with had to include blue. So I used a little bit of color theory and I did complementary colors. I'm going to be combining blue, different tints of blue, with different tints of orange. Because if you look at the color wheel, those are the two complementary colors. And I really like the way that you could get like baby blue and like pinks, and they look really good, and they're in the same kind of like family of colors, and they complement each other. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to start off with baby blue. I'm painting all of the armor with this color, and I'm not worried about being neat because this is the lowest layer, so much of it will be covered or corrected with the other colors I choose. The next layer is anything that is colored black, which is the joints and the weapons of the sorcerer. With the core colors dried, I'm going to be painting the trim of the armor dark blue. This is going to benefit from the next step, which is washing the entire thing with a Drakenhof Nightshade. This is an awesome wash because it lowers the saturation of the baby blue and it fills the recesses with a darker, almost black. Now once that dries, it's time to use the same baby blue and try to bring up some of that blue color to make those highlights on the armor. Next is the weird organ mutation things that are coming out of his body. These are going to be painted a light tan, almost pink, and you can already tell that these two colors really complement each other. The pink and the blue just look awesome. For the fur, I will be painting it a reddish brown as I try my best to stay within the orange/pink color theme. And then next, I'll paint the face with a tan and flip the model over to paint the cape a light gray. The gray is important because it's just a neutral color. Once everything is dried, it's time for Rakelin Flesh Shade on the mutational growths and the face of Oberon the Undying. The cape gets a wash with Nolan oil. Next, I'll use the tan from the face to dry brush the weird growth bits and the face again. It acts as a basic highlight. Using the dark blue from before, I will repaint the trim of the armor that was dirtied up with the dry brushing steps, and I'll also dry brush the weapons with a metallic silver. And finally, I went back to the face and painted more details. Now, I didn't film much of this. The only thing I did get was painting the horns brown, but I actually added different colors to try to make the face more pale and organic, but I wasn't really satisfied with the result. I think it looks way too caked on. I probably should have thinned down my paints a lot more. In the future, I'm going to try a different technique for the skin. But there you have it. You have Oberon the Undying. And comment down in the comment section below, let me know what you guys think of not only the paint scheme, but also the lore of Oberon the Undying. Now, Oberon the Undying is supposed to be the villain to my ethereal that I'm building for my Tau army. So the Chaos Space Marine Warband and the Tau Warband are being built side by side, and their lore is going to somehow connect. And if you guys have been following the Tau lore, you guys can probably guess at how they're going to connect, because I've already talked about Tzeentch within the Tau lore. Check out that video if you haven't done so. I'll put a link up above to the playlist where you can watch the Tau Warband creation from the very beginning. But for me, the next step is going to be a troop choice for the Chaos Space Marine Warband, which would most likely be Chaos Space Marines, but that's what I need you guys to help me out with. Comment down in the comment section below if you're already a Chaos player or you know about the Chaos Codex. What is a good troop choice for a warband? Obviously, I'll try to create that pretty soon, depending on what comments are said down in the comment section below. But yeah, that is the next step, and that's also going to lead me to the lore part of explaining why he's called the Undying. I didn't get to get to that because part of his quest is to find this warband, which is going to tie in and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy these types of videos. Subscribe to the channel to get more. And if you guys have suggestions for other topics, just let me know what they are in the comment section below. I don't want to ignore the 40 facts videos that you guys are used to. But these videos are a nice little break from that stuff. So thanks for listening, guys, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. This was Gershwan with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation. I knew I never had that much to lose.